Hello everyone, it's Cheryl here from Love and Light Yoga, and today I have a hip opening yoga sequence for you. So whether we are training to get our hips a little bit more open and free, or whether we are quite tight and sore in the hips, this is designed to give us that nice hip opening movement and a good stretch through the inner thighs. So if you are ready, let's begin. So we are going to get started today in a seated position on our mats, and we're going to come straight into butterfly. So we are getting that hip opening straight away, no messing about. We're going to bring soles of the feet together and we're going to let the knees drop out towards the side. Now, if this is the first movement like this that we've done all day, our hips might be quite sore. Take it easy on the hips, take it easy on the knees. We can place something underneath the knees if we need to for a little bit of extra support, or if we need to send the legs further away from the body, we can do that. So it's completely up to you how deep you want to go with this one. Bring your hands onto the fronts of the shins, or maybe the feet or the ankles, and just sit up nice and tall through your spine. As we sit nice and tall, continue to relax through the inner thighs, through the hips, and let those knees just open out towards the side. We can close our eyes here and just take a few deep breaths. With every inhale, we're going to think about sitting a little bit taller and straighter through the spine. With every exhale, we're going to think about releasing tension out of our thighs, out of our hips. Just letting those knees drift a little bit closer down towards the mat. And then if the eyes are closed, we can open them back up. We're going to take a hold of, either keep the hands around the ankles, or maybe we can take them around the feet. And we're going to start to make some big circles with the upper body. So keeping the soles of the feet together, keeping the knees open, we're just going to start to circle the torso into some nice big open movements here. So don't worry too much how this looks. This doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't matter if the hips start to lift and roll about a little bit. It doesn't matter if the shoulders get involved, the spine gets involved. We're just wanting to send our body into these big circles, which is going to start to open up through the hips, bring a little bit of more organic movement in there. Nice, and then just take it the other way and stick with your breath here. So please keep breathing. Please never hold the breath. Just taking a few big circles the other way. And then come back with a nice tall spine. Keep your hands around the feet if that's where they are. Feel that length through the spine. So start to feel the crown of the head reaching up towards the sky. And we're going to find a forward fold here. So take a big inhale. As we exhale, release those knees. Start to release the chest down towards the floor. You can use your hands as a little bit of leverage to help pull your body forward. Once you find that little bit of resistance in the body, that's where you're just going to stop and you're going to breathe. So keep on breathing into those hips. Feel that opening through the hips. Feel all this space in the low back. We can keep our hands on our feet, just using that to gently guide us down a little bit closer. Or if it feels better, you can release the hands out in front and release the forehead down. Wherever you are, we're just sending a few deep breaths into the lower back. Taking a little scan through your body, all the way from your feet, your legs, your hips, your low back. Noticing if there's anywhere that we're holding on to tension that we can just let go. When we learn to just let go of our muscles, movements like this, letting go becomes a little bit more easier. Let's take one more big inhale. Take a full exhale. And then walk the hands all the way back up to center. The knees might need a little bit of help coming in, so we can take our hands onto the outside, bring them in, and we're all going to meet in our tabletop. So we're going to come forward onto our hands and our knees into our tabletop position. And we are going to get straight into the thighs once again. So we are here, we have our wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and we're just going to start to take those hips into some big circles. So think about taking the hips off towards the left, sending them back towards the left heel, taking it across to the right side, and then coming forward. And doing the whole process again. So we are starting to take ourselves into some big circly movements on the mat. So starting to waken up the spine a little bit, maybe the shoulders and the wrists. This should feel really good. So just taking a few big circles one way and then switching the direction. Taking a few the other way. And then come all the way back up to center with a nice neutral spine. Nice, now we're going to work with the right leg. So we're going to keep this bend that we have in the right knee, and we're just going to start to see if we can lift that knee open towards the side and then bring it back in. So we're going to open it up and bring it back down, and we're going to try to keep everything else steady so that the only movement here is coming from the right hip joint itself. Now things are going to move a little bit. We might start to feel the opposite hip starting to lift a little bit, but for the most part we want to start to feel everything completely steady, only this right hip joint moving. And this is much harder than it looks. If you're doing this with me, you know. Nice, let's go for 2 more. And then the next time that we have that knee lifted, we're going to stop and we're going to hold. We're going to see if we can start to bring that knee up towards the elbow, take it down and around, and come all the way back round. So think as if we have a little pencil on our knee and we're drawing big circles with our knee. So we're bringing the knee up, open it towards the side, bringing it down. Nice, you're going to feel this in through the supporting leg as well. Let's just go for 2 more of these. We're going to feel this in our glutes in the morning. Nice. And then the next time that we are sending that knee up towards the elbow, we're going to continue on up and we're going to bring our foot up towards the outside of the right hand. So we have both hands, we have the right foot on the outside of the right hand, and we are finding our lizard posture here. So we're just going to start to find a little rock forwards and backwards with our hip. And if this is super uncomfortable, we can walk this back knee in a little bit to make this stretch less intense. If we want to have it more intense, we can walk the back knee back a little bit more, just creating a little bit more space. And then the next time that we have the hips forward, we have the front knee bent, we're going to stop and we're going to hold in our lizard posture. Nice. And we're going to be here for a few breaths. So there's a few different options. We can choose to stay here, maybe with our fingertips on the floor, or we might start to roll that right knee out towards the side. So we are rolling onto the pinky toe side of our foot here. We might come down onto one elbow, we might come down onto both elbows. But again, it doesn't matter where you are, because whichever variation you're in, we are stretching, we are working all the same muscles. And just slowing the breath down here. Think about releasing that right knee out towards the side of the room, down towards the floor. Again, taking that scan through your body. Noticing if there's anywhere that you're just holding on, that you can let go. We're here for 1 or 2 more breaths. And then after your next exhale, we're going to come back up onto the hands. We're going to come back onto the sole of the foot. And we're going to be stepping back into our plank here and then coming into a downward facing dog. So we're going to tuck the back toe under, we're going to lift the back knee, we're going to step the right foot all the way back into our plank, take a big inhale, lift the hips up, send them back. We are in our downward facing dog. So this might be your first downward facing dog of the day. If it is, just take it easy, keep breathing. We can keep a bend through the knees if we need to. Maybe we find a little bit of movement, bend and straighten each knee at a time. Nice, and if we need to come out of this at any point, we just bring the knees back to the floor. Rejoin whenever we're feeling good. And then let's come back to center, back to stillness. Nice, we're still on that right leg. So we're going to see if we can inhale to reach the right leg up. It doesn't have to come up super high. And then we're going to bend the right knee. So it's almost like you're trying to bring your heel in towards your bum here. We're going to open that hip out towards the side. So we are pointing the knee up towards the sky. We're getting this nice big opening in through the hip. We can stay here, or maybe we can see if we can make some big circles with that right knee. We're just here for 1 or 2 more breaths. And then bring the sole of the foot all the way back down to the floor. Take a little bit of a breather here. We can stay here for our breather, or we can come all the way back down to our child's pose. It doesn't matter whichever variation you are in. We are using this as an opportunity to breathe, to catch our breath. And then if you are in your child's pose, meet me back up in our downward facing dog whenever you're feeling ready. And we're going to move on to the left leg. So as we inhale, we're going to see if we can reach that right leg up towards the sky. We're going to bend the knee and we're going to open up the hip. So it's almost like we're pointing our knee up towards the sky. We can choose to stay here for a few breaths, or maybe we send that knee into some big circles. Just like before, imagine we have a little pencil on the knee and we're drawing some big circles here. Opening that hip up. Let's take 1 or 2 more breaths. And then let's bring sole of the foot back to the floor, coming back to our downward facing dog. We're going to take a bend through the knees. We're going to send the gaze up towards the fingers, and we're going to bring the weight forward. We're going to start to step that left foot up and towards the outside of the left hand. Nice. We're going to drop the right knee down to the floor, release the toes, and we're going to find our lizard posture on this side. So before we come into stillness, we want to find a little bit of a rock with our hips forwards and backwards. Just straightening out that left knee and then bending it again, feeling that stretch through the hips, through the hamstrings. And then the next time that the hips are forward, the left knee is bent, we're going to stop and we're going to hold. We're going to decide if I want to stay here with fingertips on the floor. Maybe I want to start to open that left knee out towards the side, roll on to the outside of the left foot. Maybe I come down to 1 elbow, maybe 2. And wherever you are, just release. Release through your left hip. Release your knee, release your lower back. Breathe deeply. Take 1 more full round of breath in your own time. Big inhale and exhale. And then to come out of this, just come back up onto the hands, bring the sole of the foot back onto the floor, and step that left knee back to meet the right, coming into our tabletop. Nice, and then just our last little movement on this left hip. We're going to keep that bent 90-degree angle in the knee, and we're just going to see if we can open the knee out to the side, bring it back in. Just like before, we're opening the knee and we're bringing it back in. We're trying to keep everything else as steady as we can. We're not trying to shift the weight about too much. It doesn't really matter how high we can get the left knee. And then the next time that we have that knee lifted, we're going to stop. We're going to start to send it up towards the elbow. We're going to take it down, open it up towards the back and around. So we're making big circles with our hip joint here. We're circling that left knee around, taking the knee down, taking it up, open and forwards. Nice, stick with it here, we're almost done. So keep moving, keep breathing. And then the next time that we have that knee down, we can stop, we can bring it down to the mat, and we can find our child's pose. So it might feel better to have the knees together for this one, or you can take the knees apart if you wish, but we're just going to start to send the bum back towards the heels. We're going to keep the arms out long, and we're going to rest the forehead down. Forehead might come onto the mat, it might come on top of stacked hands, and we take a breather here. Deep inhales and exhales, releasing everything out. Noticing where you are feeling any sensations. Notice where you're feeling any feelings of openings. Take your last few breaths here. And then after your next exhale, we can release. We can start to lift the gaze. We can walk our hands back and up towards our knees. We can swing our legs forwards. If you want to take a few moments for a shavasana or for a quick meditation, I invite you to do that now. And if not, if you have other things that you need to be getting on with today, we can finish this practice just by reaching our hands up towards the sky, exhaling our hands to our hearts, and namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope your hips are feeling good. I hope your inner thighs are feeling good. And I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a like. It is very much appreciated. If you would like to see more like this, please subscribe. Please feel free to leave me any comments or suggestions in my little comment box below. And whatever you're doing, have a fantastic rest of your day. Namaste.